Hey folks, this is Ryan from ORS Cross Country Skis in Vermont. This in my hand is a Garmont Excursion backcountry boot. At a glance you might think it's a tele boot because it's plastic, but make no mistake, this is a backcountry boot. Just because it's plastic, all that means is you're going to get the most support possible. You're going to have a waterproof boot, and you're going to have an extremely warm boot, and one that has a ton of support and power to turn that ski in those steeps and those deeps. It does have a flexing bellow, so if you have to do some backcountry touring, you won't be struggling too much. Compared to a tele boot, it is plastic, but it's much shorter, so it's a lot lighter weight and a lot more comfortable getting around looking for those turns. You might not want to do the most aggressive lift serve downhill all day with this boot. You could pull that off, certainly, but this here, you're trying to find a lightweight tool to get around and make some sweet turns. It's a wonderful boot. We love it. The backcountry benchmark, if you ask me, the Garmont Excursion. And when you're thinking about the boot, then you're obviously thinking about the ski to match it and the right binding. The Carhu Guide, which is essentially a tele ski with a waxless pattern on the bottom. It's lightweight, but very soft flexing, wide, a lot of side cut kind of ski. This is a companion, a match made in heaven right there. Or the 10th Mountain by Carhu, which is a little bit narrower, so a little more of the backcountry touring end. It's still a great match because you're thinking once you get to those turns, you want to rip some sick turns. So you need that big boot for that. And then the Alpina Cross Terrain is another option as well. Same idea, a lot of side cut, pretty soft flexing ski. The idea is you're looking to make turns, but you got to get to those turns, so you're a backcountry person. The binding, and by the way, let me just tell you a quick little secret. We also have the G-Rex here by Garmont, which is sold as a junior boot. But if you're having a hard time finding the Garmont Excursion Women's, it's essentially the same boot, and we have these in sizes up to, I think, a 26. So it's a junior boot, but it's essentially the women's version of the Excursion. So consider that as well. Now, bindings, we think you've got pretty much, we give you three options. We've got the Volley HD, we've got the Volley 3-pin tele with cable, and then we've got the Volley switchback. So here's essentially your tele touring binding, and this is a great option, I would say, on the guide because, again, downhill control is your #1 priority, but when you have to get there, the nice thing about the switchback is it has a touring mode, so you can really kick and glide nice and naturally, get to the top, you lock it down, and then you've got essentially your hardwire touring tele binding. On the opposite end, the lighter duty, you've got a real beefy 3-pin binding. It can work on any of these skis, but because you don't have any kind of a cable, your downhill control will be a little bit compromised, but you'll have much more sort of lighter duty kick and glide. So it's a great option on the 10th Mountain. I mean, with this boot, you really don't need a cable anyway. This is all the power you need, and certainly on the cross terrain. The guide, however, can certainly use the benefit of the extra cable. So the magical holy grail is the Volley 3-pin tele with removable cable. So you've got that heavy-duty 3-pin toe with a cable that you can actually remove quite easily when you don't need it. So you pop it on for those downhill turns, and you take it off when you're stuck on the flats getting to the turns. And same idea. Awesome option there. Great on the 10th Mountain, great on the cross terrain. Depending on where you're going, you take the cables off, put it back on, whatever. So in 5 minutes or less, that's sort of the brief overview. It's up to you to really make that output decision, but we are here to help you out. And my name is Ryan. This is ORS Cross Country Skis Direct. We're in Vermont, and good luck and have a great day. Hope for some snow.